So you got your Figma designs ready, and now you want to turn them into actual code. A lot of tutorials out there, they will tell you just take a screenshot of the UI, paste it into your favorite AI coding agent, and magically you will have a ready UI. This might look good in a YouTube video. However, this is not how actual product teams work. And I can guarantee you that if you use this approach, you will end up with spaghetti code. So how do we solve this? This is exactly what we're going to go through in this video. I will show you how to turn this Figma design into actual code inside Cursor using this 6-step process where we go over the foundation, how to prepare your PRD and the screen specs. Then I will show you how to extract the design tokens from the design system. Then I will show you how to properly set up Storybook, a very important tool to document all our components. Then we will go ahead, build our components, and then eventually build our UI screens from the components. And last but not least, step number 6, the refactoring step. And it's worth actually staying up until this point because I never seen anyone show proper refactoring techniques. So basically, we will refactor the AI-generated code to enforce our design system and apply senior UI engineer best practices. And as always, all the resources are listed in the description down below. So I suggest you download them first to follow along. With that being said, let's get into building. So step number 1, preparing the product requirements document and the specs for each screen that we are building. So here, as you can see, I have Figma open and I have all the designs for each of the screens that we will build. So what we are building, we're essentially building Workforce. It's a product that helps companies manage their employees. What we actually need to do in this step, the same context that we have about what we are building, why we are building it, what each of the screens contains, what are the user flows, and so on. We need to give the same context to AI. And for that purpose, we would need to create a folder inside our AI coding agent that contains the product requirements document that includes what we are building, why we are building it, what are the core features of our product, what is out of the scope. Very important to also include the tech stack that we're going to build the product with. And of course, links to each of the screens that we're going to build. And let me also show you what you need to include in the specs for each of these individual screens that we will build. As you can see here, we have the home screen, and we would need to give context about what the screen is about, what are the different user flows, and so on. Let me show you how it will look like. So the home page, what is this page about? What are the user flows that user can actually do in the screen? What data is displayed? What components are needed to build this screen afterwards? And of course, information about the different states and edge cases. So this is the minimum that you would need to include in your specs documents for each screen. And of course, this can be generated with AI, and I will have the prompts in the guide in the description down below in case you want to use them. So the next step, after you have uploaded all the documents, you need to ask AI to install all the dependencies, so essentially all the libraries, all the frameworks, all the component libraries that we will use to actually start building. And how you do that? Very simple. You just paste the PRD and tell it create tasks from the PRD to install all the dependencies. Very important, you need to click plan mode. After you click plan mode, AI will generate a plan, and then it will start installing all the dependencies, and you will end up with all the dependencies, all the frameworks installed. And now that we have all the dependencies installed, we are ready to build. Okay, so now we are ready to extract the design tokens from our design system. Here, as you can see, I have my design system. I have one that is very long one, and I have a short one, which this is what we will use. It will be more than enough. And by the way, I made a video how to generate a design system using Figma Make. I will also have the video in the description down below. So what we would need to do now, we would need to copy the link to the design system frame, go back to our AI coding agent and use this prompt. First, we would need to tell it to read the PRD to understand the project, then read my Figma design systems and paste this link that we just copied from Figma. And by the way, for this to work, you would need to have Figma MCP installed. I will have the installation guide also in the follow along guide in the description down below. You would need again to click plan, and it will essentially extract all the design tokens here in the token CSS file. So you will end up with something like this. And then tail will map those design tokens into utility classes. And let me explain you why it's very important to extract the design tokens from the design system. What essentially we're doing with the design tokens is translating all our design decisions. Let's say, what is the color of a primary button? How much is the spacing, what is the color of a secondary button, into variables. So without design tokens, the color of the button will be hard-coded in each of these files that contain a button. And as you can see, we have many screens that contain a black button. Then imagine that tomorrow you would want to change the black button into blue. What you would need to do, you will need to go to each of the files that contains hard-coded color of the black button, and you would need to manually change all of this one by one. While with design tokens and proper variables, you will just have one file that tells that the primary button is black. And then when you would need to change it to blue, you would just change the color in one file. So this is very important to have a consistent and scalable system so we can now build our components and then eventually our screens. So let's go now ahead and build the components. So this is the process how we will go about building our components. First, we will build 2 foundational components, let's say the button component. Then we will review it to see if it adheres to our designs on Figma. And once everything is satisfactory, we will go ahead and build the next batch. So what we would need to do now is go back to Figma and take the link where our button component is. So I have it in my design system, but you could also easily go to any of the screens that contains your component and just copy the frame that contains the component. But I prefer to just do it from here since I have it in the design system. So the process is like this. We copy the link, then we will go back to our AI coding agent and paste this prompt. So first we would need to give again context about our product by sharing the PRD and the design tokens, and then the link to the component that we just copied. And then we just tell it to build the component. We actually installed the Radix UI component library, which is a headless UI library. And why we chose that? Because we already have our design tokens that we will use to build the style for the component. So unlike Shatsen UI that have already built the styles, we will use our own styles to build the component. And the last important part is that we should also instruct it to show the component in Storybook. So as you remember, we installed Storybook when we installed the dependencies. And what it will happen, so every component that we will build, it will be automatically shown in Storybook. So Storybook is a tool that helps us organize and document all of the components in isolation from our main app. So we can review them before we actually use them to build our main app. So as you can see here, I built already many components. Here we have the button, we have the banner component, we have the badges components and all the various states here, how a success badge looks like, a warning badge and all of that. So as you can see, very nicely, everything is documented. So we can go ahead, review them, make any changes, refactor them before we move to use them to actually build our own app. Very helpful to have an overview and document all our components. And now you can use this same process to build also all the other components that you have. So you might be also wondering, okay, can I just paste the UI screen and just build all the components that includes in the UI screen? Yes, theoretically you could do that, but for better results, I would suggest just build components in isolation, or maybe if you have simple components like buttons or input field that are simple for AI to build them in few batches. But I would not suggest you to directly put the whole UI screen to build the full component because their results will be inconsistent and you would need a lot of back and forth. Once you build the components, the next step will be to refactor those components. And I created a rule, or let's say a refactoring prompt that essentially reviews the component as a senior UI engineer will do. So I will have this in the description down below together with the follow along guide. So very important because we will enforce our design tokens. Nothing is hard coded. Everything is basically adhering to our specific Next.js framework. So very important that you use the refactoring prompt so you can have a consistent and not spaghetti code. Now, the next step, once we have all our components ready and built and are reviewed and refactored, we are ready to use these components to build our sky screens. How do we do that? If you want to build the homepage, copy the link to the homepage and go back to your AI coding agent. And here is the prompt. First, we need to give context to the AI about our project. So we included the product requirements document from here and the home screen that we're building. Here, if you remember, the home screen includes all the information about what is the screen about, all the flows. And here we also listed all the components that it should use to build that page. We also need to paste the home screen link from Figma that we just copied. And we just tell it to build the homepage using basically the components that we built before. So this is on my local host, how it looks like. And also the people's page, identical to our Figma design. Here also, and here is the people page. And this is exactly how you go from Figma design to production-ready UI code that is consistent with your Figma design. So as you can see, first we built the components. We made sure that they're all adhering to Figma designs, and only then we went ahead and start building the screens. And the results is pretty amazing, very consistent, exactly how we have them on Figma because we pre-built the components, we did the work before to actually come up to have from one shot like a result like this. So now we have generated all our UI screens. They might look good as our Figma designs. However, do the work right. Is the code production ready? So this is where the refactoring step comes. Once we have our designs ready and we are satisfied with how they look, we should proceed with the refactoring step. Here I have my refactoring prompt, a checklist of how a senior UI engineer would refactor the code. And then what I do, I paste this prompt into the chat where I generated the particular screen. I click plan mode, and then AI would come with a plan to refactor the screen. As you can see here, it found a couple of critical issues. For instance, the heading hierarchy is violated, missing empty states, and also gives recommendations for improvement. Essentially, issues that we would not be otherwise able to catch just by looking at the design. We will actually need to have proper UI engineer skills to also look into the code to understand and catch all these issues. But with this refactoring prompt, AI was able to read through all the code that has been generated, catch the issues, create a plan, and eventually fix them, things that we would otherwise miss if we would not use this refactoring prompt. So I highly suggest you to add the step of refactoring at the end. And there you have it, my 6-step process to go from Figma design to production-ready front-end UI code that you can now easily give to your backend engineers to implement the business logic and the backend logic. So thanks again for making it until here. Don't forget to subscribe and write me in the comments what you want to see in the next video. So see you in the next one.